Would you like to support Cubs Out Loud? One way is to join us over on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, patrons get early access to our shows, the pre- and post-show, and various other rewards. You can learn more at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud. Thanks to all our patrons for their support in making this podcast. It's January 11th, 2026. I'm Jeff.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
I'm Damon.
I don't brew the tea, I just serve it.
And that makes me Gary.
Everyone else is thinking it, and I just say it.
Welcome to Cubs Out Loud, the Bear Podcast with a Determined Length, episode number 812. And guess what, folks? It's another one of those.
Let's talk about sex.
Specifically, all I can say is bye now.
Pay later? Wait, that's a different.
No, it's gay later.
Yeah.
In my case, at least. I had a temporary stint where I thought it was bye. But in any case, Gary, where did this come from?
So, it's actually an old topic that I wondered about some time ago and just kind of brought it up now. Because it was one of those things that I wondered about in the past decade. Like, are we seeing more and more individuals claiming, self-labeling, moving into the arena of bisexuality? So, hence, the question is, like, the rise of bi men. It's not really phrased as a question, technically, in the topic title, but that's really what it comes down to. So, yeah, I kind of wondered about, like, is that really the case? And that's due to my awareness via some platforms that there are more and more men. What's with the air quote things?
Awareness.
First-hand witnessing, whatever you want to call it, that there are more and more men who are straight curious, bi curious, like, or just flat out straight, that are like looking for, some fun, albeit brief. And so, hence, like, the question is kind of come up. It's like, what does that come into? What does it mean?
What it means, in my humble opinion, is I think the landscape of sexuality and sexuality acceptance has changed in several years. So a lot of people are coming out of the woodwork. I think they've been here the entire time, just on the down low. And now more people are getting out there. Some of them are making just for fans.
That's a really good point. I'm just like, you brought up just for fans and such. I'm kind of like, yeah. I've been noticing a decent amount of bisexual, pansexual men, especially like bearish types, are, not always bearish types, but like bearish types, but also some of the like more muscle fit kind of guys making content, um, and selling their content, with the specifically with it being more leaning towards the homosexual side of the bisexual, as it were. More often than not, they're making videos of them having sex with men,
MSM.
and selling that.
Well,
And
that's because gay men really pay for porn.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Right.
I think that's
Hashtag
sort of
truth.
the tea here. The tea here that is being built is that more often than not, we are very eager to take content, and we are also very visual in a lot of ways. So we will see the guy that we like and be like, yeah, I want to see more of that. Let me put my credit card down and let me pay for this site every month and get these videos. I know of a few, that I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind following. I see their social medias, their blue skies or whatever, and being like, yeah, I would. I don't know. I haven't gotten to the point of like actually paying for things yet, but I do enjoy what I see in their like sneaky, their sneak previews, their little videos that they throw up on the site. Um, and I, I I agree with you, Jeff. I think there is a relaxation, in a way, from when were growing up. God damn, that sounds so bad. But I think it's not as it's still, fuck the world, like kind of like there's still people out there that still hate us for being who we are. But there's a overall prevalence, or I like saying relaxation, of the immediate stigma about being a man who has a sex man who has a sex man who has sex with men. Um, it's not as taboo. It's also not as risky. I think a lot of these guys have learned I mean, some of them have, many don't, but have learned about things like guys that are taking care of themselves and taking care of their sexual health and doing things like prep and um, all of that, and they're a little bit more open to playing with them.
Interesting.
And there are HIPAA
Yeah.
requirements. You don't have to tell the wife.
Yeah, you can take care of yourself and not have to worry about. Yeah, agree. That's true, Jeff. Like you can you can sign up for something, and I don't know about Mister, but I know when I was doing another program that was, um, I could get my prep from basically online. Like I took the test, I could do it in my home and send it back, and then they would ship me the medication, and it would come in, um, just like a regular like FedEx bag. I think it was FedEx at the time, and I had it. It wasn't a I could do it pretty much discreetly.
Mm-hmm.
Now Jim knows because I talked to him
Right.
about it, but like other people can just do it like that, and they don't have to tell their spouse. They don't have to tell their girlfriend. Um, and you can potentially, as long as you're kind of keeping up with it, then it works. And yes, you can also, Jim, not Jim, Gary, correct me if I'm wrong. I think there is a way to do some prep medications on a emergency basis, if I'm remembering.
So the CDC does not condone or recommend 211, as it's called. So Prep 211 is where you would take generic Truvada, or Descovy, which are daily pills, And instead of taking them all the time, you would use them in instances of potential exposure. So instead of
Right.
taking it 30 days a month or 365 days a year, you would use it based on instance. So as a person like me, who's demi, who doesn't really have much sex with other individuals, I would take it when I know there's going to be an activity or right at the time that there is one. And the 211 refers to the dosage. So you take 2 pills on the first day and then 1 pill on the second and third days after the exposure. But if the exposure keeps going on, like let's say you go on like a vacation or a cruise or something and you're like, you know, getting a lot of fun over the course of like 4 or 5 days, you just keep taking the pills until you've gone beyond the last day of exposure with additional 2 doses. So
Right.
it's really kind of the 211 refers to like a one-time moment.
Yeah.
But some providers do talk with their clients about that. Just to clarify, we as a podcast aren't endorsing that, but I'm helping explain like what that is. And if you're interested in it, please talk to your provider about like safe sex options, including using pre-exposure prophylaxis medications like those that I was mentioning. There are others also as well. There's an injectable now, so there's some options to consider. But the 211 is very helpful, especially if like daily med adherence, like taking pills every single day, is not your thing. So we talk about it in terms of like work when we talk to clients. We're not a provider of PrEP for HIV, but we explain what the concept is, and then we endorse them talking with their provider and getting more education about it in that case. It's come about from, I don't recall offhand if there have been actual studies of it. I'm going to say this part out loud, which could get me into trouble. I think universally providers are very nervous about the 211 regimen concept because it's in a way saying that you don't need to take it all the time. You just need to take it when you have an exposure. But the problem is, are you going to have an active available prescription when you have an exposure?
Right.
So like it's kind of a thing where if you take it daily, every single day, like you build up a lot of the medication in your system, which allows you to be better protected as opposed to just when you have the exposure. Also, 211 is not for women or persons with vaginas because vaginal tissue takes longer for the medication to build up to have the effect that it needs to. So it's mainly been studied and primarily been talked about in terms of people who are anal receptive, but it should be used in both like people who are giving and receiving. Anyways.
Stepping off soapbox.
It's not wrong that you asked, but I was like, oh, there's a work moment for you.
Yeah, I think it's because there's
Again, speak with your doctor, please. We are not medical professionals.
Absolutely. No. I will speak from personal experience. I'm taking Descovy. I've been taking Descovy for so many years now, and I was on Truvada before that. But I've been on PrEP since 2019, and pretty much consistently since then. And while I am not nearly as sexually active when I started taking the medication, I do still take it regularly. I do still get treated regularly, and the main reason I do that is because I am keeping myself safe and my partner safe, safer from any exposures. I am probably lower risk now than I was again when I started it 7 years ago. 7 years ago. But I think the risk is still there, and it's always good to take care of yourself and be prepared, hence prep for anything that could potentially happen. To bring it back to the conversation, that's kind of what I was going on, is that there are a lot of people that are taking better care of themselves and keeping themselves safer. So I think bisexual men who are having sex with men are seeing that as a potential benefit to be freer with their playfulness, as it were.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do.
So I
What?
added some docs while we were talking to this, or added some article links to this doc of what we've been talking about. Part of the reason that this came about is I saw that there was some recent headlines and news about the increase of, or the shift of sexuality in 2025 to heteroflexible, which is a newer term. It's not really newer, but it's a newer claiming term. Another app. So anyway, some of the apps that we're talking about are Sniffies, which is a web-based system. It can be an app. There's also, yes, it's right below Jeff. And then there's Grinder, of course, which is a classic, and then the Blowers, which is another web-based app. That one's pretty straightforward. That one's just about like oral hookup. But there's also a newer one that I learned about recently called Feeld, Feeld, which is more middle of the road. I think it's very much like swinger kind of like atmospheric like population. And the reason I say it that way is like I've seen all identities on there, like in terms of what you can choose, but my understanding so far is that it's been predominantly men, and they either see themselves as straight or hence heteroflexible, or gay and bi and poly. Not too many women necessarily on there. But anyways, Field kind of explains that heteroflexible is primarily sexual romantic individuals attracted to genders other than their own, but also open to having sex or romantic interactions with a person of the same gender. So the difference between bisexuality and heteroflexible is basically bisexuality is seen as very much like a 50-50 like binary concept, as in like you're equally attracted to binary gender concepts. So if I identify as a bisexual male, I find both men and women, quote unquote, attractive. Heteroflexible concept is that you're heterosexual, but you have moments or times, and they're in the minority, that you're comfortable being with someone of the same gender. Now, whether that's in a multi-person experience, like activity, or one-on-one is up to them, obviously. So I feel like this idea of heteroflexible, there's a couple of articles here, that, including the Field app Raw Data 2025. They talk about the trend that they saw through the use of their particular app, that it was the fastest growing sexuality like claim. What I find interesting about it is that they said millennials are leading the growth, though Gen Z is catching up behind that. I think it's pretty interesting. It goes on and talks about other things like pleasure positivity and sexual maps and blah, blah, blah. There will be links. You can read all this stuff. I'm not trying to like pan like or poo-poo it or whatever, but I just find it very interesting that they're talking about this. And I feel like despite like the dumpster fire we felt the politics in America was this past year, we are seeing this shift in this move that people are like focusing on themselves, kind of like we were talking about in pre-show, right? In different ways. But a part of that is like, where's my pleasure? Like, where do I find pleasure? Who do I find pleasure with? And so I think that's a piece of it. I kind of wonder if the concept of like bisexuality rising, like if people think that heteroflexibility falls into that arena, or if there will be this kind of like separation, that heteroflexible is more accepting because you're not gay and you're not bi. You know what I mean? Like you're just once in a blue moon, you have some fun with someone of the same gender.
Look, you
And
just
I think
need to put your dick in a hole, and it could be, and doesn't matter if it ends up being a vagina or an ass or a mouth, or who's on the other end.
But I kind of, so I think about it this way. I still think, and I could be wrong about this, I still think that a vast majority of heterosexual men, people that label themselves as like straight men, I think they still see themselves as straight based on what you were just saying, Jeff. I think this is my interpretation. I think heteroflexible is more about them doing things
Mm,
that are more kind of in the quote unquote gay realm, like them performing oral or them receiving anal. But it's very infrequent, and that's just my opinion, like observationally from it. It's not really something that I've studied or whatever, but
right.
but yeah, like so what I find interesting about this is just conceptually, like, so to point out what David was talking about earlier, my backdrop is from a certain website application. If you know it, you recognize it instantly because it's very brand marketing specific. And the thing is I find more and more that there's a lot of non-gay identities. And so I see, like I said, straight, curious, bi, curious, poly, like these things that are just not hetero or
Yeah.
only per se. And yet it's like this site, these sites are, they're hookups. Field, I think, is a little bit more dating leaning than hooking up. I mean, hooking up is an aspect of it, but there's a lot of like things you can choose within Field that allows you to like say like if you're looking for a relationship as opposed to just
Mhm.
getting your rocks off. So that's why I say it's like more dating, like I guess like Tinder-ish in a way.
Fair.
So
In some sense,
Hmm.
isn't that kind of what like Grinder was kind of meant to be, the gay Tinder? But then us gay men had to ruin it and make it just a hookup app.
I,
I mean, did we ruin it?
Yeah, good point.
Or did it ruin
That's
itself?
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
I often think of like most sites, and like I haven't looked at Field yet, but like I think most sites have a hookup aspect culture to them. Um, yes, it'd be great if they were more dating centric, and some are more dating centric, but I feel most of them tend to fall along the lines of we're looking to, hook up kind of thing. We're looking to get our jollies, be on our day, be on our way. Um, and like the app that Gary has behind him, I am familiar with. Um, I outed myself in our pre-show. um, because I was not paying attention and didn't recognize what it was. That's okay. Um, but I do think there has been an increase of bi men, straight men, down low men. I'll even say that on the apps. Because these apps in particular, the one that is behind Gary, for example, is very like you're right there. You're half a mile away. You're 100 feet away potentially. Like it's kind of meant to be a you're close by, let's do it kind of thing. It's I don't want to say instantaneous, but like it's kind of a hey, how are you? I'm good. Wanna fuck? Yeah, there we go, kind of thing. It's very much that transactional is a good way to put it.
Yep.
You can build quote unquote relationships through it, but I tend to think of apps like this as more finding someone to have pleasure with or reconnecting with someone that you've had pleasure with, um, and enjoying that pleasure and then moving about your day
Right.
or your evening. I mean, can you find someone for a long term kind of thing? Possibly, for sure. But Um, it's shut up. Um, it's definitely a it's definitely been a increase in a way, and the anonymity of some of these sites also does help.
Mhm.
Um,
Right. So, like, to end the mystery for those, especially the audio podcast listeners that are like, what the hell are they talking about? My backdrop is the infamous like dark navy blue and like not quite this dark blue Sniffy's map loading image page, which is quite funny to be able to get a background shot of. But anyways, um,
yeah, I'm like, how
so
did
they
you do this?
it's their template default map,
Oh,
which I still haven't been able to figure out where the hell it is. But um, not that I try to sleuth it out a whole lot, but I'm just very curious. I'm like, something tells me it's California somewhere. I don't know. But anyways, that being said, they use like GPS positioning specifically with Sniffies. And it is very much like immediate transactional, hookup stuff as opposed to other sites. Um, that being said, yeah, like I do think there's quite a bit of like changes in the landscape of things. And I do think in the past decade or so, we've seen more and more individuals who have been finding themselves in terms of like what they say. One of the items I found interesting in one of the articles was that they referenced that there's an estimate that heteroflexible individuals, like people that choose that label, make up 15% of the population in our country. And I'm like, well, if you're going off of like all these average statistics, if 10% of the population is gay and 15% of it is heteroflexible, I'm like, that's a quarter, kids.
Mhm.
10 plus 15 is 25. So, you know what I mean? So if you start thinking about it that way, you're like, well, then 1 in 4, you put 4 people together, one of them is not like the others. So, or if you get 10 people together, 2.5 of them are not like the others. Like, and
ew.
that's one of them's very short. So, anyways, the thing of it is that I feel, and a part of me is like, I think this is very natural. I think prior to the 1900s, maybe in the 1800s, like we as a human society shifted. I think for a long, long time through our evolution as a species, like as humans, we just kind of didn't give a crap about any of this.
Mm,
People were just people. They were just doing their thing, living their lives, whether they were aristocracy or, agrarians, whatever the case may be. I think they were just like kind of living their lives. And we know that throughout human history, there's been all sorts of examples of like different kinds of relationships and dynamics. And so, when we started getting more scientific about it and we had to label things, I think that's when things went a certain direction and we were othering and creating issues. So in a way, I kind of feel like maybe like we as a society are kind of shifting, and maybe it's always just been the case. Now we're just like claiming more
Mhm.
labels that are not quite, so binary in their concept.
Yeah.
Just a theory.
Yeah, I think that's the main point of all this is it's always been there. It's just because things have become less taboo. Uh, People are coming more out of the woodwork.
yeah, yeah.
Cool.
It's not. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing either.
Oh, no one's saying that.
Yeah, no. I'm just thinking. It's just kind of adding on.
Mhm.
I think it's very. I'm a big believer in owning your truth. If and if you want to enjoy these experiences, even on a kind of the limited, like quick hookup kind of basis, then as long as everyone is understanding and consenting, including potentially your romantic partners, if you're in those kind of relationships, then cool. like, more power to you. Just keep doing it. Just make sure everyone is understanding and respectful, and have fun. And if you're looking to go into things and make coin and get money, then all the more do it. Yeah, have fun. Fuck around if you want, if you can, do it.
I think we've come to a consensus. Anything else we want to cover?
Bisexuality, A-OK.
2026. Be more freaky. Have more fun. Just be safe about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and if you need to get away from your wife and blow a cock or get your hole plowed or plow a hole or something, go do it. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. I think that's the end.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of ways to contact us. What do you think about the rise of bi men? Is it really a rise or is it just a outing? Let us know at cubsoutloud.com. You can leave a comment on the blog. Shoot us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com. Leave us a voicemail at 361-COL-TALK. That's 361-265-8255. Follow us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube at Cubs Out Loud, the appropriate places, the URL. Join our entourage chat on Telegram at bit.ly/telegram-COL. And find out when we're planning on recording these shows when we know ourselves at bit.ly/calendar-COL. Keep in mind that if we do put something on there, there's a possibility that we may start a little late. So just stick around and watch. Subscribe to the channel and get a notification. You get various accoutrements, including mugs, sweatshirts. All of us are wearing a sweatshirt in one shape or another. Zazzle.com/CubsOutLoud. Some of those designs were designed by Smashy. You can find more of his work at tpublic.com/user/SmashyTheBear. You can also support us by becoming a patron at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud or sending us a donation at paypal.me/CubsOutLoud. You can find us on any of the podcasting platforms, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Audible, Spotify. You can find me anywhere on the internet as BoxCub. Actually, pretty much just X and Blue Sky. Damon.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I heard something behind me and it felt weird. Sorry. If you wish to get in touch with me, I'm getting there, bitch. If you wish to get in touch with me, you can find me as TheaterCub79. That's TheaterCub79. The most related sites are on other places. Or you can find me as PupUmbra79 on Blue Sky. That Blue Sky is not safe for work. For safe for work stuff, you want DMAGamer79 or TikTok. Gary.
If you would like to get in touch with me, you can pretty much find me anywhere online as Gamer73. Don't be sneaking up on nobody. We don't like it.
And with that, say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good one, y'all.
Bye.